right now. Hello and welcome to the Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana Ricardo Tormo. This 4-kilometre long circuit bears the name of the two-time 50cc Grand Prix champion Ricardo Tormo, and today is host to the last round of the FIM CEV Repsol. Coming up now is the last round of the FIM CEV Repsol Moto2 European Championship. Stephen Odendaal was crowned champion in Portugal after a dominant season, but the battle for second place is still red hot. My name is Harry Lloyd, and joining me once again is the ever-smiling and highly experienced Dakota Momola. We'll be your hosts for what is sure to be an absolutely hectic 19-lap affair around the 14 corners of the Valencia circuit, a full-blown Grand Prix circuit as the grid lines up. We're about to see perhaps the best race of the year. We've seen huge drama in the Moto3 class already. There's been a lot of happenings, a lot of comings and goings since we were last in the paddock at Jerez. A couple of signings all ready for next year. But first of all, Dakota, you were just outside for the interviews. What are conditions like out there? It was very, very cold this morning and a bit wet. What's the case now?
It's actually gotten a little bit warmer, to be honest, and the weather's, it's cloudy, but it doesn't look like any rain. Maybe some spots there, here and there, but nothing too drastic. I spoke to one of the guys out there about what happened to De La Porta, and they said that one of the protectors that covers the exhaust on the front there caught on fire. Maybe some product was left there, but like I was speaking to someone, thank God it wasn't gas or anything, because it really could have been a lot worse than what it was.
Certainly it could have been a lot worse, but right now, of course good to know that De La Porta is okay, but right now it is time to focus on Moto2, the
and
European.
Ramirez, I must say, had a big smile on his face.
I bet he was very happy. There we can see the grid just form out for Moto2. Of course, as we said, it is Odendaal who is the champion. Interestingly enough, Stephen Odendaal, unfortunately, doesn't have a World Championship ride, and I believe he's the first CEV champion since 2012 to not move up to the World Championship. A bit disappointing for him, but unfortunately sponsorship is such a key part of racing now, is that for most riders, if you don't have a big sponsor with you, then even if you're a champion of the second best Moto2 series in the world, you can't earn a ride on the grid. Nagashima is the only rider from this paddock actually moving up to the World Championship.
It's crazy, Harry. I mean, I talked to a lot of people in the World Championship and even here, and again, Stephen Odendaal, champion, Spanish champion or dominant champion, and such a strong rider. He did a wild card and finished in the top 17. He's a really talented, and the lap time he did now would put him, nearly to the top 15 in the World Championship.
Exactly, yeah, he would have been 17th on the World Championship grid.
He can't even get a ride, and you've got all these young kids that are bringing this money, a lot of money into the sport, whether it's a sponsor or whatever, and the teams are picking these other riders instead of really talented rider like Steven. I don't agree on this at all, but it is what racing is right now. You cannot change it, and yeah, let's see what Steven's plans are for the future. I really hope he can get a ride because he really deserves one. And another rider, that I know, Julito Simon, doesn't have a ride. The Moto2, all the seats are taken right now, and I think Julito's going to help out Tito Rabat next year.
Yep. Yep, it does look like he will be rider coach to Tito Rabat. Yeah. In fact, Stephen Odendaal not even getting to stay with the same team that he won the championship with. Joe Roberts, good friend of yours, he joined us last time in the commentary box in Jerez. He will be joining Jason Uribe in that AGR team. Take nothing away from Joe, he definitely deserved that ride, but just a bit shocking in all honesty to see Stephen Odendaal maybe not struggle for a ride, but just not have as many options open to him as you'd expect from someone who's dominated a championship that is almost on par with the World Championship.
Totally, and I think a few years ago he did the World Championship a whole season, then came back here and he's been just dominant every year. It's not like he's been only dominant this year, and I don't understand all these. Last year, you know, Chesko Raffin won the championship, and or 2 years ago he won it, and he moved up to the World Championship, and that should be the deal. I think that you win the championship here, you should get a ride in the World Championship, and he can't even get a ride here nearly,
Exactly.
which is just, you know, crazy. And people, you know, people on the outside don't see this, but it's really not easy to find a ride right now, and unless you have, like again I say, a really strong sponsor that's going to help you grow, it's going to be hard.
Exactly. It is very, very, very tough out there. So Stephen Oendal will be looking to go off in style. He is, of course, on pole position. This is his, what's this, his 4th pole of the year. Really, really strong from him. He's taken 6 race wins this year. Only once failed to finish, and that was actually his time off the podium. Otherwise, he is, as we said, 6 wins, 2 second places, and a 3rd place. So not so bad for Stephen Oendal at all. I'm pretty sure that Oendal, as I said, does have something locked up. We'll wait for Oendal to announce that himself, of course.
For sure.
Don't want to spoil his party. But all the best to the number 44 next year. There you can see his teammate Jason Uribe, the American number 36, just coming to the grid. The Moto2 grid, not quite as hectic as the Moto3 grid. We have 34 riders racing today. Of course, we do also have some stock 600 bikes out there. Those guys are out on, as the name suggests, stock 600 machines. So, you know, your production Supersport Kawasaki's, your Yamahas, your Hondas, and all the like. There is the champion, Stephen Oendal, a nicer guy you would not meet. Honestly, always a pleasure to be around. And there is Denise, his lovely girlfriend. They spend all their time together, and very, very close. A great little team they make, and as you can see, she is wearing the championship shirt there. And we can just say a quick update, obviously, with the red flag in Moto3. We have had a slight tweak, so everything has been pushed back 15 minutes, but that shouldn't affect it too much. There's the AGR team. Obviously, the AGR team also working in the World Championship with Marcel Schrotter and Axel Pons. Next year, they will run Yoni Hernandez as their sole Moto2 rider. Stephen Oendal, just look at that. 1-1-1, 1-1-1, and then obviously that DNF when he had a tyre problem, not even a crash, just a bad tyre in Barcelona.
Really solid championship he's done.
Incredible season, and you know, as he said, Stephen Oendal, he did do the World Championships, and he himself admits he was not ready when he moved to the World Championships. You know, he didn't really take it as seriously as he probably should have, he admits. But you know, coming back to the CEV, you know, 1 step back to go 2 steps forward, and he's definitely an excellent rider now. Here is Nagashima. As we said, he will be moving to the World Championship with the SAG team, bringing quite a large sponsor with him. Of the last 4 races we've had at Valencia, Nagashima has actually only managed to finish once. Nagashima is fighting with Alan Tesher for 2nd place overall. Nagashima currently with 137 points to Tesher's 149, so he really needs to get winning in this race. And Nagashima, interestingly enough, has actually not won a race this season. He's on a run of 4 podium finishes, but still looking for that elusive first victory in this championship. There is Alan Tesher, the Frenchman, on the NTS bike. Japanese-made races pretty much only here and in Japan. He, like Oendal, had a wild card in the World Championship. Not quite as strong as Oendal, but still a very, very respectable result for Tesher as well. Tesher, another one. Very, very quick rider. Still a bit unsure of his plans for next year. Bit up in the air.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... Right now, I think most riders are all up in the air. I know there's some riders already sorted out for next year, but it's not until the last moment where, you know, if you find a good sponsor and budget, you're always going to have a team if you got a good, you know, a good background behind you. And it's sad, but because with all these talented riders, I think a lot of them can move up to the World Championship, but they literally just can't. And but not just because of money, also because it's just full right now, and a lot of young Moto3 riders are moving up, and even the Moto3 riders here are moving to the World Championship. And you know, you have a slight chance of making it and a slight little moments of, you know, getting into teams and that, but then again, a rider can get injured and you can always be a replacement, and I think that's always another option too.
Yes, exactly. We just saw Augusto Fernandez in 4th place. Great qualifying from him. He's been sort of the number 4 man this year. Hasn't really had the pace to challenge for the podium, but has been incredibly consistent all year.
He's done a few wild cards in the World Championship.
Behind him is Federico Fellini, number 22. As you rightly said, he has done a couple of wild cards. Was actually meant to do a couple more, but unfortunately broke his back in Aragon in a crash. That really upset his season. There with the lovely Optimus Prime helmet, Federico Fellini. The sunglasses basically tell you he's Italian straight away.
Yeah, because there ain't much sun out there.
No, it is very overcast. Not quite as dark as it was before. He, of course, did get his first ever podium here at the start of the year with 3rd place in race 2. As we said, unfortunately, he did miss the majority of the season, coming back only in Portimao after breaking his back in Aragon when he crashed on oil during qualifying. So sort of just trying to, get his season back on track now. Here is Dimas Eki, always popular. Of course, this series is broadcast live on YouTube. And we do have a huge amount of Indonesian fans who follow Dimas Eki's exploits very closely. Great result from Dimas Eki in the top 6. Dimas Eki, he's had a pretty solid year. A couple of crashes, unfortunately. He's currently 7th overall with 54 points. Could potentially move up as high as 4th, as high as 5th if he were to win this race. But certainly top 5 is on the cards for the Indonesian rider. Here is another very talented guy, another guy who's been doing a lot of World Championships. Found it a bit tough there. Ika Lukawona, super sideways style, been racing for the Car Expert team in place of Dominic Agata. The Car Expert team is linked to the Race Experience team, lots of the same staff personnel in both. As I said, he did take over for Agata after Agata got fired for signing with another team for next year. Bit of an interesting situation there.
I don't find that, very nice from the team's part, because he's been in that team for like 3-4 years and he's had such a good relationship. I think we're all shocked to read that. Exactly.
Another person I'm shocked about, Eric Granado, down in 8th place on pole here at the start of the year. Won the first race, crashed out of the second race.
He's not Italian, but he's Brazilian.
He's Brazilian, yeah. So close enough.
Close enough
with the sunglasses. But no. Granado, much like Odendal, one of the more experienced guys in this championship, really thought he would put together a really sustained championship challenge, but unfortunately he's just not really done much, and really expected a lot more from the Brazilian. He's been doing great in the Brazilian Supersport Championship, winning a lot there, but when it comes to CEV, bit lackluster, unfortunately. Yet again, not sure what his plans are for next year. Of course, the Moto2 European Championship will continue next year. There is a provisional CEV calendar floating around out there on the internet if you are interested. Here's Ricky Cardus. You were having a chat with him a bit earlier this morning because he's on the Transformers bike, a very strange motorcycle.
Yeah, I was asking him because I looked at it and it looks so weird compared to what we're used to looking at, and said, what's the biggest difference? Because he's been in the World Championship, he's been racing so many different bikes, and he says, I can literally brake a lot deeper with this thing than the Calyx, and he says the rear of the bike is kind of the same. It's the same part as a normal Calyx, but the front end he can literally just really hammer the brakes, but corner speed and all that is the factor that they're missing out a little bit. And it's really, he says, you can't adjust a lot to it. There's not much to the front, he says, and he says, like in Barcelona, he did well because he had good grip. He had really good.
He won one of the races in Barcelona.
Yeah, and he had really good rear grip. But here, for some reason, he's struggling with the rear, he said, and that's why he's in 9th position. And he says in some races it's going to be a lot better than others. And but he said he was going to do his best. And he says the only good part is I can really pass on the brakes, and that's what he needs to do this weekend in these races.
Be good for him.
Yeah. And
so if you haven't seen the Transformers bike, it has a Transformers front. That's the name of the front end. You can search that on Google, or it's quite similar to a wishbone front. So it's very unconventional. There's not the two forks that we're used to seeing. There's a single shock essentially that moves a solid piece of the front. It also has a steel trellis frame, much like a KTM bike. Here is Gabriel Ruhu, the youngest rider on the grid, starting in 12th place, just 16 years old.
He looks big, huh, for 16?
Yeah, he's a big kid for 16. very interesting riding style. Freddie Spencer replica helmet there. There we can see the fans. Of course, the FIM CEV Repsol is free to come along. So, you know, I know of some people who have made a great little holiday away. They came for the MotoGP race, stayed for the test, you know, enjoyed a couple of days on the beach in Valencia, and are now back here for the CEV. So a real jam-packed little
Today's
holiday.
not a beach day, Harry.
No, today is a motorcycle racing day is what it is.
No, it's good. It's good, you know, Valencia, and we're really near the beach, and there's a lot of nice areas to go look at, and I know a lot of English people actually come to this race.
The Brits do love Spain. Here is the grid. It is a South African on pole. Stephen Oendal ahead of Nagashima and Tesha. On the second row it is Fernandez who leads ahead of Fellini, then Eki, then Lecawona, Granado and Ricky Carduce all in the top 9, all potential race winners. Samuel Cavalieri and ahead of Marcel Brenner, Gabriel Ruhu, Uribe there ahead of Xavi Cardalus. Ramdan Rosley, the Malaysian, ahead of Taigi Hada, replacing Sonny Yamada this weekend. Lucas Tavolik ahead of Borja Martinez. Then Thomas Sigvartsen ahead of Max Enderlein, Mikel Pons there, and I believe one of your old bikes, Dakota, Angel Poyatas, is there. David Sanchez, Adrian Mention, Pontus Durland, Sebastian Fraga there, Paul Defer. I've never seen that flag for Sebastian Fraga there before. I'm going to have to double check which one that is. Thibaut Gorin there ahead of Antweiler, Ivo Paisho, Anna Carrasco there on the Suter, then Rusmi Putro, then Bernat, and finally Raymond bringing up the rear. I believe that Fraga is from Swaziland.
Wow. Is there even a track there? I don't even know.
In all honesty, I'm not sure. I saw SWA on the entry list and I didn't really think too much of it. To be honest, I thought, I don't know what I thought, but I'm not sure that I've ever seen a racer from Swaziland before.
No, me neither. I mean, I think today we're seeing a lot of firsts.
Yes,
you know, the bike catching on fire.
Certainly a lot of firsts in the CEV.
And what a better way to do it in the last one. Make it more interesting. I was also talking to Anna. You know, she seems to be struggling a bit. And she was telling me how she's struggling a little bit on, you know, just wrestling the bike. And it's a big step from Moto3 to Moto2. And but good on her. You know, she's there. She's pushing. She's trying. And I just hope, you know, next year she can. I think she should move down to Moto3 again because I think she was a really good rider in Moto3.
Yeah,
she had some good results even in the World Championship.
Yeah, when she was teammates with Maverick Vinales in the Calvo team, she got a top 10, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. So here we go on the warm-up lap. It is almost time to say so long, farewell, adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye to the Moto2 class of 2016. But we do have one thrilling 19-lap race ahead of us there. Can Odendahl make it 7 wins in the season, or could someone potentially upset him? Of course, last season we had Xavi Vieira take 6 wins to Edgar Pons's 5 wins, and those two had absolutely wonderful seasons. So Odendahl could potentially have an even better season than both of those riders. Of course, both those riders now in the World Championship, as we said. Here we go. We have seen some riders get caught out by the cooler conditions. The track will have warmed up a bit now, but watch out for turn 4, the first right-hander, turn 9, turn 10, both of those fast right-handers, and then also turn 12, where we saw a lot of MotoGP riders crashing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the temperature outside is pretty much the same as this you know, as the Moto3 race, and again, you know, turn 4 is a tricky one. It's always that corner, and especially because you come out of turn 3, a really fast kink, and you kind of go into there and full-on braking and turning. You always lose the front there. It's a really easy corner. It's kind of banked too. So, and then like I said before, in the MotoGP weekend, a lot of them were crashing into turn 9 and 10. You kind of get a little wobble going on the left of 9 and switching quick to 10 because you're basically full throttle and braking in a lot of lean angle. And temperature, you know, temperature does have a big factor into this. So let's just hope there's not that many crashes. Last Moto2 race of the season, because they don't have another one.
No, it is just the one Moto2 race. Of course, after this we do have a Superbike race, and then the 2nd of the Moto3 races, but right now it is all about the 600cc intermediate class Grand Prix motorcycles, a grid full of them, aside from a couple of stock 600 bikes. The man with the red flag will eventually walk away, and then we will turn our attention to the lights in the top left-hand corner of your screen. Get ready to watch out. The start will be vital.
No bikes on fire. Everything looks okay.
Luckily, no bikes on fire this time. They are holding the red flag for quite a little bit. Looks like one of the bikes in the background there just a bit slow to join up. Not sure exactly who that is. Nice casual Sunday ride there, just, you know, going down to the shops.
All these riders right here are thinking, what's happening? We just want to go.
Exactly.
Tires getting cold.
But it does look like that rider at the back has now joined up. The lights go red, and then they will go out, and we will be racing, and it is a great launch from the South African Stephen Oendal off the line. An incredible drag there. Looks like Nagashima almost some contact further behind. Looks like Oendal has great little advantage there going into the first corner. Demas Eki actually in second place. Alan Tesha up the inside of Nagashima to move into third place around the first corner. Everybody through safely, a couple wide.
Turn 2.
Here we go into turn 2. As we said, a hot spot 4 crashes. It looks like everybody is okay, and it does look like it is Stephen Oendal who is sprinting ahead with Demas Eki, the only one there. Whoa, some big wobbles further back down the grid, especially for the stock 600 class. Ricky Cardus there deep on the brakes, as you said earlier, Dakota, right behind Nagashima. Oendal leads from Demas Eki. A great start from the Indonesian, looking for his first ever podium. There you can see Ricky Cardus running number 48 this weekend. Eric Granado also making great moves to get ahead of Alan Tesha there.
All clear.
All clear, everybody is okay, no drama as we had in the Moto3 race. Great to see. Also great to see Stephen Oendal pushing hard at the front. Of course, the Moto2 warm-up session was perhaps the one most hit by rain. Some riders going out on wet tyres. Stephen Oendal, one of those riders, said that it wasn't really the right choice going out on wets, but going out on slicks would have been equally as useless. Demas Eki, great ride here as well. Looks like there's some action in the battle for third place further back. Here we flick it right through turn 12 up.
A lot of guys crashed there too.
Yep.
Really fast, chicane corner.
Up into turn 13, a great place to watch the sideways Moto2 bikes, especially Stephen Oendal. He likes to get it nice and loose. Here we go down the start-finish straight for the first time in this race. Number 44 leads. Number 20, it is South Africa, from Indonesia, from Japan, from Spain. Not many other championships you could get a cultural mix like that. Stephen Oendal with his distinct knees in style going into that first corner.
Yeah, you see this in Moto2, a lot of different, riding styles, and you also see he's completely different to now, the leg, when they
dangle. The yellow flag
the leg dangle
there as well through turn 3. Not sure what's happened there. Ricky Cardus looking for a way through on Nagashima, can't quite get through Demas Eki, keeping Oendal very honest, just a bike length between them. Excellent start from Eric Granado as well to get up into 5th place, just ahead of Alan Tesha there. Jason Uribe into the top 10. A thrilling start from the American, who has had some pretty solid results this year. Actually had to have the top part of his middle finger cut off before the last round due to a lingering injury. He said it was slowing him down, so went under the knife, as they say, and that's how dedicated all of these guys are to racing, literally risking life and limb.
They used to call it the 500 finger, back then, because always back then, they didn't really have really good gloves, and every time they'd crash, they'd have the little, the pinky finger on their edge, always chopped off, and I guess that's when they called it, the 500 finger.
Yep, it looks like Nagashima is dropping back like a stone as Eric Granado has now gotten past. Looks like Ricky Cardus is making pretty quick progress in closing in on the leading 2 as well. Looks like this fight for victory is far from over. This is exactly what we want to see. Look at that lovely string of Moto2 machines. Oendal with a 137.8, but the fastest rider on track was Ricky Cardus with a 137.5, currently moving his way in 3rd place there. Nobody running off track, of course. You do have to be careful not to exceed track limits too much, or you will be penalised. Nagashima trying to attack Tesha there further behind.
Ricky's coming. Ricky's, like I said, he said they had to do some changes on the rear, and if they did, he knew that he could hang in with the top 2 guys, and because he's feeling okay, and it doesn't seem like Oendal is gonna pull away right now, but it is just 2 laps past the start. So, and they're all, the top 5 guys are all in the mid 37s, and then we push back to high 37s, 38s.
Exactly, nothing to choose just yet in terms of times. Of course, there are, you know, a couple of bike lengths between each rider, but nothing that can't be overcome, especially if it does start to spit with rain again. The dark clouds are still overhead at this Valencia circuit. Just to quickly run you down the order, of course, we have Odendaal leading, Eki second, Carduce third, Eric Granado fourth, Nagashima was fifth when we last crossed the 9, Fernandez seventh, Fellini eighth, Ruhu ninth, Uribe 10th, Harder 11th, Brenner 12th, Cavalieri 13th, Poyatas in 14th, and Lucas Tvolgic in 15th place, and rounding out the points. And then the leading stock 600 bike is Kero, number 9 in 16th place. There is Odendaal. Nice style through turn 1. As we said, Odendaal has a very distinct style. Keeps his knee right in the bike.
I feel like he's not going to go in the corner. I just feel like he's going to keep going straight.
As you can see there, everybody else is getting their knee out through turn 2. That was actually a really nice shot to illustrate. But Stephen Odendaal keeps his knee in until he's, you know, at full lean angle. Then he suddenly just sticks it out.
Oh, look at that front end chatter from Ricky Carduce's bike. He was saying that, you know, in the mid corner, that front end does not feel good.
Just bouncing all over the place.
It's just bouncing, but he's been riding. I mean, look at the bounce. This is crazy. He's actually riding that thing as hard as he can and really well, to be honest, compared to all these Calyxes that are out here.
Yeah, exactly. And Ricky Carduce also has been doing a lot of development work for KTM on their Moto2 machine. So, you know, Ricky Carduce has gotten a lot of track time this year and on a lot of different motorcycles. So, you know, don't underestimate Ricky Carduce. Certainly there is Eric Granado in 4th, the Brazilian looking to return to the podium. His last podium was actually in Barcelona at the 5th round of the year, so a pretty long time.
Pretty good, good race. No one's really gone away. I love this corner here. You know, I was watching here in the MotoGP test, and I was watching Reigns and you know, the Suzuki and Iannone going around there, and we were talking about it last night, Harry. The amount of spin that goes through that corner and how much smoke was coming out of the rear, and it's the same with the Moto2. If you stand there and watch, you could actually see the rear tires start to spin. And I was talking also to Remy Gardner, and Remy says that he's actually only done it 2 or 3 times flat out, and it's scary, he says, but fun, because if you can actually get the thing to just swirl around and spin, it's actually really fun to do.
Excellent. Well, it does look like Stephen Odendaal has now opened up a bit of a lead, about half a second when they crossed the line. Odendaal just slamming in 1:36.9 that last lap, his fast lap of the race. Meanwhile, the rest of the field are in the low 1:37s. But just edging ahead. But the man on a mission is this man here, Nagashima, 1:36.652. Bit of a tricky first lap.
Look at that group.
But it looks like
something happened.
Some big problem for Odendaal as Demis Eki now leads this race. Nagashima, is he going to do 2 in 1? No, it looks like it is Carduce who slides into second place. Odendaal goes from 1st to 4th.
Who said Moto2 was boring?
Exactly. 1st to 4th in just a couple of corners. While it was Nagashima who had the bad first lap, it looks like it is Odendaal who is having the bad 5th lap, as Demis Eki leads a race for the first time.
I think he must have went wide or something into that, you know, into that 6 Angel Nieto corner, the 6th corner. It's a really easy go wide in there. That's where Marquez crashed in the test on Tuesday, I saw. So there's Ricky getting past.
Nagashima up the inside. All of these riders are on the exact same tyres, so it will be up to the riders to manage them themselves. There's not going to be anyone who comes stronger later in the race due to going for a harder option. But here we go. Nothing to choose between those top 5, and Augusto Fernandez back there is closing in. So these top 6, Augusto Fernandez in 7th there. Stephen Odendaal not been able to attack back just yet. Hopefully we can get a replay of what did happen to Odendaal, as it is Demis Eki who leads a race for the first time, but it won't be for long as Nagashima comes up the inside at turn 2. A great move by the Japanese rider.
There's that passing corner I was talking about. Really,
looking for his first win of the season and his first win ever. Here comes Carduce as well, hard on the brakes, just like you said. Great result for the Transformers bike. They were racing out in the World Championship last weekend, but didn't have the best results. Hopefully they'll be able to rely on some of that data to give Carduce a good ride.
I think
Demas
I was like, oh, this is the last race. I've got the championship. Let's just have some fun.
Wants to have some fun, but, you know, Demas Eki is now dropping back, and it looks like Kardus and Nagashima are now opening up a bit of a gap. So Oendal needs to try and get past Demas Eki if he can, or both of them need to work together to close up those two, because look, that's what, 2 or 3 bike lengths already opened up out the front. And Oendal must have a problem, because now Eric Granado's gotten past him, and now he has Alan Tesher breathing down his neck.
You know, Moto2, it's so critical. If you leave any space available, they'll, you know, the guy right behind you is just going to stick it in there. And Oendal cannot relax now. He's got to get it going a little bit now and not let them 2 guys go.
Exactly. There goes Eric Granado up into 3rd place ahead of Demas Eki. Great result for the Brazilian Federico Fellini. Just there in the background, Augusto Fernandes. He has now joined that second group. It does look clear that we do have the number 45 and the number 48 breaking away at the front. Nagashima and Kardus in a little race of their own. Nagashima last lap did another 136, this time a 136.8. Kardus followed in with a 136.9. The rest of the field doing 137s or so.
You could really see how Kardus gains on the minute he brakes to the minute he releases the brake into the corner. And that's where it's going to be his forte. Stevens in 3rd again.
Back up into 3rd, so as you said, clearly Oendal just wants to have a bit of fun before he goes back to South Africa for the winter. Of course, Stephen Oendal does also race in the South African 600cc Championship when he can. That's sort of, you know, just a second race series he does to stay bike fit. The CEV is his main priority, and it looks like he's pretty rapidly closing up on Nagashima and Kardus. Yeah. Kardus, in fact, now leading this race on the Transformers, looking for their 2nd victory of
So Nagashima and Kardus are the only ones in 36s, high 36s, and then the rest of the field are basically on 37, mid 37s, and which, as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap, but Oendal's gonna, I have a feeling we'll get that gap back up, and he'll actually drag Eric Granado and the group behind him with him.
Yep, certainly it does look like they are now much, much closer. Nagashima goes up the inside as
real, yeah, famous
wide.
Corner to pass, especially if you have a really good run behind the guy around that long left corner. It's a really easy corner to pass in, and an easy corner also the crashing, because there's been a lot of crashes into there in the last lap, last corner, where you're trying to pass for that extra position. And I love Nagashima's style. He's really kind of loose, and it's good to see when they're all together, all the different riding styles. You can actually see him.
Yep. The Moto2 machine just so flexible, as you say, for riding styles. There is Stephen Oendal, who just set the fastest lap of the race. Clearly his issue was only a 1-lap one, as he's now well and truly back with the leaders. And as you said, Eric Granado has been brought with him a bit. Granado still bike lengths also to close that gap. But this race, we're approaching mid-race distance, and there is still a whole lot of racing to happen. Nagashima trying to open up a gap at the front as Kardus defends from Stephen Oendal. As you were mentioning, Kardus needs to take quite different lines with that Transformers bike to make advantage of that. Really great on the brakes, as you were saying, Dakota, but then he does need to sort of MotoGP style get it stood up and squirted out of the corners, as opposed to trying to carry a more sweeping line that you might see from the Kalex.
There's that famous sliding corner. I love that corner.
Turn 13, absolutely beautiful to watch.
And for a rider, it's also probably one of the favorite corners out there. And because you're basically you could feel the rear just spin around the whole way around, and kind of like for us dirt trackers who love dirt tracking, it's a great feeling.
Exactly. Here we go. 11 laps still to go. It is Nagashima who leads the action at the front. Has settled down just a little bit, but as you can see by those gaps, it is very, very close. Any one of the top 7 could realistically still win this race. Pretty even gaps between them all.
So now all top 5 guys are in 36s, and
rapid pace. The track clearly starting to heat up a bit.
Good pace, yeah.
Oh, there we have a crash there. Oh, that's Demas Eki. Disaster for the Indonesian rider after such a strong start to the race. Not sure what happened there exactly with that crash, but unfortunately, his race is over. But what a valiant effort there. Huge emotion on display. Could have been a potential podium, but unfortunately it ended up in the gravel. But most importantly, he's up and okay, walking away. His Alpenstar leathers and KYT helmet doing their job there to protect him. So the leading group does become one of just 6 as Odendaal and Granado continue to watch just behind the 2 leaders.
I don't know who's going to win this race, to be honest. It looks
still all up in the air. Any one of those 4, and you know, even Tesha, especially if there's some drama at the front, you know, some hard battling, Tesha could easily close it up. Very, very hard to choose between them. As we said, lap times all so close. We'll see what they did this lap. Last lap, all of them did 136.6s of some degree. 136.8, 136.8, 136.7 from Stephen Odendaal, 136.6 from Granado. So again, keeping each other all very, very honest right now. Nagashima still just maintaining his advantage with the crash of Demis Eki. Fernandez moves up to 6th, Fellini to 7th, Ruhu 8th, Uribe 9th on for a top 10 for him. Cavalieri in 11th, Cardalus in 12th, Brenner in 13th, Ros Lee, the Malaysian rider, in 14th, ahead of Angel Poyatas. There we go. Stephen Odendaal looking for a way around the outside.
He's going to struggle to pass that Ricky Cardus on the brakes on that.
Exactly. Can't quite do it. He will try and have to get him out of the corner, I think. Just try and get a better run, maybe with a slipstream down the straight. Of course, all these bikes do run on the same 600cc Honda engine. Oh, and there is a big crash there for Gabriel Ruhu. As we said, the youngest rider on the grid. Bit slow to his feet, but good to see that he is up and conscious. Clearly, here he is. Oh, just... rear end snapped on him there, flicked him off.
Yeah, that could also be, you know, it's really easy to put first gear in. Maybe, I don't know if they run first gear or second gear there. Maybe a mistake on the gearing. Or he put false. As I saw in Australia with rains, you know, it's also easy to put false neutral. And that's also another...
Exactly, and there is the championship standing. As we said, that battle for second is red hot. Nagashima could potentially move ahead of Tesha. Tesha really needs to try and get ahead of Granado and ideally into 3rd place if he wants to maintain second in the championship. Meanwhile, it looks like Cardus is starting to put moves in on Nagashima. That last lap, it was actually Nagashima who was the fastest, and here we can see Jason Uribe battling with that looks like the number 3 bike of Lucas Tavolik there. On that lovely blue, green and red calyx with Samuel Cavalieri just behind them. A nice little battle here for 9th place. Some real up-and-coming names in that group there. Definitely all ones to watch for the future. As we said, Jason Uribe will be joined by Joe Roberts next year in the AGR team, an all-American team. Not something you see very often in any form of racing, especially in the CEV.
No, but that's what, you know, that's what the CEV needs. It needs non-Spanish or Italian riders, that's what I say. And it'll definitely be good for the team to have these young, you know, American riders who come from the US, a dirt track background, and just different style, different, you know, different blood out here. And that's what, you know, that's what the championship needs.
It certainly does. Here is
Odendaal just
looking, just searching so hard for a way through on Cardus, but as you said, Cardus just so strong on the brakes with that Transformers machine.
He might get him here with some slipstream.
Yes, it does look like Odendaal has slid up into second place as they dip into turn 1. Now, can Odendaal close up on Nagashima, or will Cardus try and respond and slow them both down?
I think if I was Cardus, I'd just stay behind Odendaal because he's I think the quickest one in this group. Even though Nagashima looks really good, to be honest, and looks relaxed, and I think it could be a little threat for Steven. But Steven just did the, you know, the fastest lap of the race. This last lap, 36.4.
Still more to come from the South African. As we said, he is searching for his 7th win of the season. It would be an absolutely incredible way to see out his championship year. Hopefully we'll see him back here running the number 1 plate next year. It's been a good long time since we've seen the number 1 plate in any championship apart from the World Superbike Championship. And you know, the number 1 is always something a little special, but right now it is 44 versus 45 versus 48. Lots of fours in there. Odendale now right with Nagashima. Can smell the exhaust off his rivals. Kalex, can Odendale take one last win as they go through turn 12? Not quite there as Eric Granado in fourth. Somewhat distant off the back of that battle for the podium, but could certainly pick up the pieces if they were all a bit of
there's that slide.
Bit too much of a slide there from Nagashima. It looked like had to just pick it up a bit. Can Odendale make the same move again? Can he use the slipstream and then go past at turn 1?
I feel like Odendale has
there.
something under his sleeve, has more pace. And I think if he can get past Nagashima now, I have a feeling he can move on and kind of create a gap.
Odendale a bit wide there. Had to, Odendale, you saw the rear lift up as he was about to slam into the back of Nagashima. Has to run it very, very, very wide. Drops to 3rd place. Now has to try and get past Ricky Cardus yet again.
He's actually made 2 or 3 mistakes like that already in this race, just going wide. I'm not sure if he has some issue with the bike. That's always an option, but then again, maybe he's just making it harder for himself to kind of get by Cardus again and make it more fun.
Exactly. We do have 7 laps to go, so Odendale could still do it, but it is a pretty monumental effort for him. And here we go. You can just see the rear lift up for Odendale as he just slams
he nearly
on the
ran
brakes.
in the back.
Yeah,
Nagashima.
exactly. Good decision making there from Odendale,
yes,
to avoid taking them both out, because there certainly would have been some other riders who would have just opted to see if they could have used the other rider as a berm. But Odendale, as we said, a nicer guy you would not meet, and very experienced despite still being relatively young. It is Nagashima hunting his first ever victory to try and ensure that he gets 2nd place in the championship.
Oh, look at that
Beautiful slide again. Odendale looking.
Oh,
Odendale
no!
goes down! He just loses the front as he goes past, tries to look for a way through on Cardus. His first crash in a race of the year. He's up, okay, and walking. His leather's very, very dusty. Puts his hands to his head. He's all okay, though.
That bike is not okay,
Here
though.
we see. Oh,
I've seen that actually happen a couple times in testing.
as you say, that bike is
Oh, mate.
a bit second-hand, if anyone wants a slightly used Kalex.
Good way to finish the season.
Slightly used Kalex going at a good
Let's not hope
discount.
that's not Joe's bike for next season.
No doubt Joe Roberts will be back in America, hoping that they'll get another Kalex.
No, I've actually seen the same crash in the Moto2 qualifying, I think it was, and literally the front wheel was like 100 feet away from the bike, and the marshals were carrying the bike, like the front wheel out, and then the bike was on the right, and it was like a complete Transformers bike.
Well, this past weekend you saw Mattia Pacini. His bike had no front wheel and no rear wheel. It was
I think it was Pacina actually who I'm talking about. That's exact same corner, and the problem is you're carrying so much speed, and if you lose the front there, the bike just keeps on rolling.
tumbles. Yep, exactly. So it is now Nagashima, who does have a very healthy lead in this race due to the unfortunate crash of Stephen Odendale. Ricky Cardus is in 2nd, but Cardus does have Eric Granado trying to keep him honest. Granado a couple of bike lengths behind, about 0.3 of a second back on the Spanish rider. Currently Japan leading Spain, leading Brazil. And it would be Nagashima who would take 2nd place. They would be tied on points. If it were to end like this, both Tesha and Nagashima would have 1 win. Nagashima would have 3 second places to the 3 second places of Tesha, and then Nagashima has 4 third places, whereas, Tesha has 4 second places, whereas Nagashima only has 2 third places. So I'm not sure actually why Nagashima would finish ahead, because by my calculations on countbacks, it would be Tesha, but we will have to check that one out. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Tesha will be involved in this podium fight.
Nagashima's actually going quick. He's just done a 36.3, fastest lap of the race, and Cardus and Granado are all doing high 36s. So that just shows, it seems like this track, the more laps you do, the quicker you seem to go, or maybe for some riders it is that way. Because in Moto3 also, you saw with Ramirez, he was, putting on some really fast lap times, like 4 or 5 laps to go. So Nagashima, like I said, looks great on that bike, and he's doing a really good race. Techer seems a little bit too far to catch Eric Granado. Techer's actually doing a 36.9, and Granado's doing a 36.6. Let's see this next lap if Cardew slows Eric down, or if they pass each other, maybe Alan could actually catch that group. But it seems like it's going to be a lonely race for Nagashima.
Exactly, and then it's also a lonely race for Augusto Fernandez behind.
Yellow flags, not sure if someone crossed out here.
Federico Fellini in 6th place, ahead of Trevolic there in 7th, with Jason Uribe up in 8th place there. We can see Nagashima, nice, comfortable lead at the front, just doing his own thing as we have 4 laps to go. The Japanese rider, as you said, a great style there, really hangs it off the bike, but keeps it nice and smooth overall. It looks like another
bike
crash there. That's one of the stock.
Wow, McDonald's sponsor.
Yeah, McDonald's sponsor. Very, very fancy. Ooh, bit of contact there. That's what could have potentially happened between Odendaal and Nagashima. Paul Dufour, the French rider, a bit frustrated there. Hopefully off for a Big Mac after to help
McFlurry to calm him down.
Exactly. Nothing
Make
like
his day.
Nothing like a good McFlurry on a race Sunday.
And now they have like a family McFlurry, which is like double size. Me and Remy were talking about it. So
I will admit I have eaten one of those by myself.
Wow, there you go.
That was quite a dark day in the Harry Lloyd household. Yeah, family size McFlurry. Meanwhile, while we've been talking about McDonald's,
I'm hungry now.
Eric Granado has gotten up through ahead of Ricky Cardouz, and it looks like both those guys have, as you said, slowed each other down a bit, and Alan Tesher is now within touching distance. Maybe Cardouz is having some tyre problems after having to hammer that front tyre so hard. There is Nagashima, and it looks like this will be when Granado comes through. Yep, Granado nice and tight, closes the door. Cardouz.
Well, I was looking, and Eric was going about 0.3, 0.2 quicker than Cardouz, so it'd be interesting to see if Cardouz can hang with him now. Now look at that. After all those passes, what did I tell you? Alan was going to catch him, and there's Alan right behind Cardouz. And if he passes him, I think he'll finish ahead of Nagashima in the championship.
Yep, certainly a podium would secure Tesher second. Tesher also that last lap set the fastest lap of the race, a 136.352. So third is certainly still on the cards for the flying Frenchman, who's been doing a whole sort of racing this year. Obviously, he's been in this championship, and then he has also been in the World Endurance Championship, doing a couple of different races there to keep his bike fitness up. It looks like this battle between Tesher and Cardouz will go down to the wire.
Yeah, because Eric has already created a small gap, like a 0.3 gap, and I don't know if Cardouz is struggling, like you say, on that front end, hammering on them brakes, and but it'll be good to see if Techer can actually beat him, because if he beats him, he'll finish ahead of Nagashima in the championship. And I know that's what Techer's thinking right now, you know.
Certainly, you know, there's potentially a championship bonus for him, and also the prestige of finishing in the top 3 in a championship like the CEV. It is, you know, a huge thing when you're trying to get a ride for next year. So, yes,
2 laps to go.
To play for. Of course, last year Alan Tesher was 3rd in this championship, did in fact beat out Stephen Odendaal last year in the championship standings overall, but it has been Odendaal who, until this race, has had the upper hand overall.
Here's the
Tesher's
pass.
Trying. Oh, can't quite do it. Cardouz just
Cardouz is strong on them brakes, so it's going to be hard for him to pass on. He needs a really good run behind Cardouz if he wants to try and pass him on the brakes.
Yep, exactly. Just 2 laps to go. Will Tesher save it for the last corner, or will he spend the entire lap attacking? Of course, when you attack, you are altering your line and potentially not having the fastest line around the circuit. So, you know, one attack could potentially drop you back if it doesn't work. Tesher is certainly going to attack. He goes up the inside looking for a way through as they go into the last corner. He gets through, but Cardouz has the cutback up the inside. Cardouz and the Transformers get it there. Sorry, that wasn't the last corner at all. My confusion. That was turn 8 there. Tesher again attacks, this time around turn 11. Can't quite do it. Cardouz again carries the speed. Can Tesha do it around turn 13 and into turn 14?
He's going to try to do it in the last corner. Oh, he's got a good run here. He's got a really good run, so if he's going to try to pass him, it's going to be here.
Look at that. It's like they're riding the same motorcycle almost. Tesha with a nice tight line. Can he do it? No, not close enough. Cardus manages to just edge ahead as they build up to begin the final lap. The final lap of the Moto2 European Championship in 2016 has begun. It looks like it will be Nagashima who is set to take victory ahead of Eric Granado, but it is this battle for third place.
Second corner. If he gets a good run out of here, he might have a chance here.
Can he do it? He's certainly having a big sniff. He makes the move. Can he make it? Cardus has a look across. Can Cardus respond? No, he slides in behind. Now it is up to Ricky Cardus to attack.
This is for that podium finish. So.
This is for the podium finish. For the podium in the championship for Tesha Cardus. Incredible on the brakes. How late can you leave it? But then Tesha comes back up the inside straight away. This is a fantastic battle between the two experienced riders here. Cardus comes back again. Absolutely excellent. It's like Andrea Iannone and Valentino Rossi last weekend.
Cardus rides a lot dirt track with, with a lot of crazy, like Brad the Bullet and Brad Baker and all them dirt trackers. So he is experienced in passing a lot of times and, having fun. So any gap he sees, he's going to try to pass. Tetcher's going to try to go underneath here like the Rossi move, but will he stick it?
Cardus closes the door. A bit tight there. Cardus needs to ride defensive. There's only a couple of corners left. As we said, it does look like Nagashima will cruise to victory with Eric Granado in second, but it is all about this battle for third. There is the Japanese rider on for his first win of the year.
Last corner.
Big moment from Cardus, but it slows down Tesha as well. Can Tesha do anything? Here we go. It's the last corner. There is Nagashima crossing the line for his first victory, but it's this battle for third place that we're so excited about. Eric Granado in second, and it does look like Ricky Cardus somehow holds on to third place after that absolutely massive moment. Alan Tasher settles for fourth place. A swipe of the hand.
That's happened so many times to us where you're waiting, and the guy ahead of you just makes that slight movement mistake, and you nearly crash because of it, and you lose that chance of passing him in the last corner.
Exactly. There is the race winner, Nagashima. How is your Japanese, Dakota?
Konnichiwa is as best as I can do.
Absolutely beautiful. Great to see number 51 there. A fantastic wheelie. Eric Granado, as we said, returns to the podium for the first time in a little while. For the first time since Barcelona. Yep, only his third podium of the year, in fact. Definitely wouldn't have thought that at the start of the year, but good to see him go out, air quotes, on top. Then behind that podium, as we said, Cardus third, Tesha fourth, Fernandez fifth, Fellini sixth, Cardalus in seventh place, Uribe in eighth. Great result for Jason there. I'm just checking to see if that is... No, that's not quite his best result of the season, but getting up there for Jason, absolutely. That's the best thing about the end of the season is the burnouts, because you don't have to worry about the engine anymore.
Exactly. Last race, so they're not worried about it.
Yep, and then Ramdan Rosley, the Malaysian, he rounds out the top 10 ahead of Samuel Cavalieri. Harder, the Japanese rider, in 12th. Great result from him. Poyatas in 13th ahead of David Sanchez. Then Sigvartsen completes the points. Ika Lukawona, pretty disappointing from him in all honesty, in 16th place. Was expecting a lot more after riding
What I want to know, who gets the second position in the championship, Nagashima or Tetcher?
I believe it should... By my math, it should be Tesha, but we will have to wait and see who does get it. Of course, the rules on countbacks can be a bit confusing and are quite rare. Dakota is just getting ready to go over and do another podium interview with Nagashima. It will be in both English and Japanese. No worries for our international viewers out there. You will be able to get the inside scoop on what has happened in that fantastic race. And here we go, the final result. Tetsuya Nagashima wins the last race of the year for the Moto2 class, his first race win of the season. Then it is Eric Granado ahead of Ricky Cardus with a great battle, just besting Alan Tesha despite a huge moment on the last lap. Augusto Fernandez 5th, Federico Fellini in 6th, Cardalus 7th, Uribe 8th, Ramdan Rosley 10th, Samuel Cavalieri 11th, Tiger Harder there in 12th place, Angel Poyatas in 13th, David Sanchez 14th, Thomas Sigvartsen 15th, Ika Lukawona 16th, Marcel Brenner there in 17th, Borja Martinez, the leading stock 600 rider on the Yamaha 600 machine. Of course, that R6 has gotten an update for next year. here we go. Here are the race highlights. Your poleman, Stephen Oendal, shot forward off the line. A great, great start from the South African rider to lead in turn 1. But it was Demis Eki who had perhaps the start of the race to move into second place ahead of Alan Tesha and Nagashima. It looked like Demis Eki and Stephen Oendal were set to have a race of their own, but of course in Moto2, you can expect a hard fight from behind. Ricky Cardouse was very, very strong from the start. Eric Granado surprised a couple of people. Nagashima, disastrous first lap, in fact, and dropped way, way back. Oendal nice and smooth into turn 1 as he tried to open up a bit of a gap, but then a moment cost him the chance at fighting for an easy victory, and then he soon had Cardouse, Nagashima and Demis Eki all breathing down his neck, with Eric Granado enjoying the view just behind Ricky Cardouse, and the Transformers machine took their turn to ride the bike in the lead, but it was Nagashima who muscled his way through on the Spaniard on the French-built machine. And once he was out the front, Nagashima never looked back and just continued to push and push and push. Stephen Oendal was putting up a great fight for second place. Sorry for the bit of a giggle there. It looks like Nagashima just picked up a baby. And then disaster for Stephen Oendal as he crashed out of the race, his first racing crash of the season. Not the best for the the champion, but he will go into next year, hopefully defending his championship. As we said, still looking to see what his plans are for next year. Then a nice little battle between Eric Granado and Ricky Cardouse briefly before Granado broke him, and then it was up to Alan Tesha to fight for third place in the race and second overall in the championship with Cardouse. These two really went at it hard. It was like Andrea Iannone and Valentino Rossi as they constantly swapped places. Ricky Cardouse waving ahead at the line just to take it as Nagashima crossed the line for his first victory in the championship. And yet another win for the Kalex machine this year. What an incredible year we have had. That makes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have had 6 different race winners this season with Oendal, Tesha, Nagashima, Granado, Cardouse and Remy Gardner all winning races this year. Absolutely fantastic. There you can see Nagashima in Park FIM. Of course, he is part of the IO junior team, so Aki Ayo there to congratulate him. Aki Ayo transformed so many riders from crashers into champions. The touch of Io is a fantastic one. Nicola Antonelli there in the number 23 hat as well. He will be racing for that squad next year in the Moto3 Championship, and there is the baby that I was giggling at before. The baby was maybe not so excited to see a helmeted and leather-clad man pick him up, despite that man having just won his first race. But hugs all around, and great day for Nagashima. You know, he started this year off, as I said, with 2 crashes here and a bit of an unfortunate injury, but he has recovered from that incredibly and will be very interesting to watch in the World Championship next year for certain. You know, as we said, it's a bit disappointing that a champion can't get a ride, but hopefully Nagashima can represent the CEV well and can be battling up towards the front. Of course, Nagashima, much like Oendal, has had previous World Championship experience and is going back now for a second bite of the cherry, looking to do better than he did before. There's Eric Granado, as we said, just his third podium of the year. And here we go, up on to the podium, as if by magic. Nagashima there, holding his helmet high, exceedingly pleased with himself. And why wouldn't he be? A fantastic race victory ahead of Ricky Cardouse on the podium, yet again with the strange Transformers bike, as I said. If you haven't seen that one, go have a bit of a search for that one. Eric Granado in second place. Congratulations between the two Kalex riders. Then Kero there on the left-hand side, the top 600, stock 600 CC rider. Of course, we do still have 2 races after this, a Superbike race and the second and pivotal Moto3 race of the year. Here we go with the trophies. Of course, the team get their trophy first. Then it will go to Ricky Cardouse for his hard-fought and well-earned third place finish. Certainly Cardus is another one of these guys who a bit unusual that he doesn't have some sort of ride, as he is clearly very, very strong, and I think could be a contender for the CEV title were he to get a good ride here. There's Cardus picking up some more silverware for the Transformers. Manufacturer, of course, that bike designed and made in France. Not often you see many French motorcycles. Of course, the Tech 3 team in the World Championship, and here they make their motorcycles in France as well. And here we go, the man of the moment, Nagashima, gets his trophy, his first Victor's trophy in the CEV. Stunning result for him, and exactly the way that he wants to move up to the World Championship. You know, couldn't really ask for a better last result. And it looks like Nagashima will also get the free fuel check. Excellent for the drive to the airport tonight. Or maybe it'll be tomorrow. Maybe he'll be celebrating a bit. Of course, the Valencia circuit, there will be testing here in a couple of days' time. And now the Japanese national anthem.
Ese aplauso en honor del vencedor de la carrera, un Tetsuya Nagashima.
What a fantastically proud moment for Nagashima and Japan. The second Japanese winner we've had this year. Of course, Kaito Toba took victory in the second Moto3 race at this very circuit. And now we have had Nagashima do it once again for the land of the rising sun. All up on the trophy. All up on the trophy, all up on the podium with their trophies. We will have Dakota talking to Nagashima in just a little second as we prepare for the final two races of the day. And unfortunately, the final two races of the year, but what a year it has been. The Moto2 class in particular has been spectacular. Odendal has been in a class of his own, and there goes the Carver. No second race for them today, so they can enjoy it just a little bit. Cardus there absolutely drenching Nagashima. Nagashima maybe not enjoying that one as much as the race win. Speaking from experience, Carver/champagne in the eye is not the most pleasant of feeling, as you can see by Nagashima there, frantically trying to clear his eyes, but no hard feelings. It is all done in celebration. Then a big drink there for Ricky Cardus. And now I believe we will be having a bit of a look at Stephen Odendal and his championship winning season. There he is, number 40 for here we are at the start of the year in Valencia. It wasn't always easy, but Stephen Odendal put in an impeccable performance all year. His distinct style helped him to 6 victories in total. Finishing off the podium never actually finishing off the podium. His 2 races where he wasn't on the podium, he did fail to finish, obviously, this race and then in Barcelona. His wheelies were just as good as his championship riding, and the South African helped to put his country on the map alongside Brand Bidley in what proved to be an excellent year for South African motorsport. At times, he couldn't believe it, and in Portimao, he was crowned king. And boy, did he celebrate. What a fantastic year for the South African. There are all the people who helped to make it possible for him. Take a bow, sir. There he is, jumping into the Portimao pool. Absolutely incredible for Odendal. As we said, a nicer guy you could not meet. And here we have the overall championship podium. And now this will... Nagashima not quite going out just yet. It looks like Tesha was forced to settle for 3rd. We'll have to double check the math on that one. There is Odendal with I believe that's a Vuvuzela, which was of course made famous during the South African FIFA World Cup. Odendal has of course changed his leathers since his fall for the championship photo, as he does get awarded with the FIM medal well, first of all, it is Tesha who gets his 3rd place medal there. Of course, this is a FIM Championship, so they do get the full FIM award. There's Nagashima receiving his second place medal just before we go on to Odell, who gets his championship winning medal. No doubt this is just the start of many things to come, and you know, Odell could potentially become the next Carmelo Morales and dominate this championship. There we go, a gold medal, a gold helmet for South Africa's golden boy. What a season it has been for Odell and the AGR team. Here is the South African national anthem.
Un aplauso para esos tres primeros clasificados.
Fantastic moment there as he blows his South African flag, Clyde Vuvuzela. Once again, we will be hearing from both Nagashima and Stephen Odell. Nagashima as the race winner and Stephen Odell obviously as the champion. So Dakota Momola is standing by. Not only is Dakota Momola a very accomplished racer, also now a very accomplished interviewer, a man of many talents, much like his father, Randy Momola. Great relationship between all three of the championship challengers there. You know, not a hard feeling between them. Odell just on the top step of the podium for a couple of photos. Working it for the camera there, Steve. Absolutely excellent to see. And now he will make his way back to the interview area before he prepares to head back home to South Africa for a winter of training. First, we will be speaking to Nagashima. There you can see him on screen as he and Dakota have a bit of a joke. I think we'll now throw down to them in the interview
Nagashima,
area.
great race. Ondenal was there battling with you, but it seems like nobody could really beat you, and second in the championship.
So I'm very happy because today was so cold. So first moment of the race cannot push hard because right corner is too much dangerous. So first moment I stay clever, and after 5-6 laps I try push hard and I can win. So I'm very happy for today.
Thank you.
Pleased as punch, the Japanese rider is. And now I believe we'll have Stephen Odell coming up in just a little second, hopefully, to talk to us about his race and about his championship overall. Stephen Odell just having a quick chat to Dakota, I can see on our second camera feed. And I believe we're now going to go to the man himself, Stephen Odell.
European Moto2 champion. Despite your crash out there, you're okay, it seems like, but I looked at your stats and you did an incredible season. How does it feel?
Yeah, no, look, not the way to in the last race, but, you know, the guys were pushing really hard and I actually lost a bit of ground, so I tried to make it all up again, but unfortunately, the first mistake of the year. But it's okay, like a really good racing season and very happy with the team and all the performance of the bike. Sorry for the hard work tonight in the garage, but I know that the championship means a lot to them.
Now you can blow that trumpet.
Yeah, definitely.
Fast on a motorcycle and musically talented Stephen Odell, always coming up with surprises for us here in the CEV. Of course, that is the last Moto2 European Championship race of the year, and it's now time for the Superbike race. It's here, the last ever FIM CEV Repsol Superbike European Championship race is about to begin. Carmelo Morales will go out as the undisputed champion of the class after winning the title in Jerez, his 11th title in the CEV itself. But young Max Sheeb has a point to prove, who will go out as the last ever Superbike European Championship race winner. Stay right here to find out. My name is Harry Lloyd, and joining me for the penultimate race of the day and the season is Dakota Momola. We had drama right till the end in Jerez, and it doesn't look to be any different here today with 9 left.